Hey guys, it's Arctic Hydra, and I'm coming at you with an Esper control list. So breaking it down, we're running Teferi, Hero of Dominaria, Scarab God, and Dream Trawler as win cons. I like all of these cards. Um, First up, in the aggro matchups, Dream Trawler is a phenomenal win con. It's very similar to Baneslayer Angel and Lyra, being big flying lifelink bodies that just generate tons of life for us. Um, these are kind of important because right now, if you go to uh, MTG Goldfish, they're showing that mono red burn has eaten up nearly 20% of the meta right now after the Field of the Dead banning. That's kind of a lot. So having some life gain in the main deck from Dream Trawler definitely helps. Now against decks that can remove our Baneslayer Angels and our Lyras, it gets kind of iffy, especially if a Fry comes in from the sideboard on game 2 and they start removing your Baneslayer Angel or Lyra, whichever one you choose to run. That's where Dream Trawler comes in. Dream Trawler doesn't care about that. You can make him Hexborth, just discard a card, and he's going to smack face and keep you in the game. He's a great clock, just as good as Baneslayer Angel, and that flexibility of not having to deal with getting removed easily is going to win you games. It could be said that we want to cut the Baneslayer Angel from the side deck here, and that's something you could definitely consider. We also are looking at taking, I'm not sure how to enunciate this card, frankly, with the Diplomat. It draws you cards in a similar fashion to how Dream Trawler gives you card advantage. And it comes out a turn sooner. Also has lifelink. And at a 2/4 Barty, it can wall out a good bit. You don't have to wait until turn 6. So we're going to go ahead and trim Baneslayer Angel from the sideboard here and pull this in against aggro decks. Some other options here is Timely Reinforcements to gain 6 life. That could be really relevant, and the 3 1/1 bodies to block against something like goblins can come in handy. That deck also works. Sorry, that card also works pretty well against Rakdos and Jund Sacrifice. The sacrifice decks that are running Bolus, Citadel are pretty scary, and you need all the life you can get. Definitely consider some life gain in the sideboard right now. So for the control side of things, for removal suites, we are running Castdown and Drown in the Loch. Now, Drown in the Loch has a pretty popular following in Pioneer. Just being 2 mana is so important when it comes to counter spells and single target removal spells. And once you get a few turns into the game, the condition of Drown in the Loch requiring cards in the graveyard doesn't become as relevant. We're happy to see our opponents throw cards in the graveyard, and right now a lot of decks are putting a lot of cards in the graveyard. Burn is throwing burn spells out. Aggressive decks are throwing cards onto the field for you to remove. Ramp cards are casting, their Oro and their Growth Spirals and other ramp cards that all go into the graveyard. And of course, we can help them get cards into the graveyard with Thought Erasure. So I'm really liking Drown in the Loch. Fetch lands also throw cards in the graveyard. It's a very graveyard-driven meta right now, especially with all of the like Jund Sacrifice and other graveyard decks. So Drown in the Loch's well positioned. If you go look at Pioneer, you'll see a lot of Drown in the Loch being played in Esper list. So I really like it. Cast down. The options here are Tyrant Scorn, Cast Down, and Heartless Act. And there is something to be said about Eliminate. But I'm going to try rocking castdown. It doesn't hit some of the legendary creatures that mono red goblins like to throw at you. But I think for the most part, castdown will see us through. Heartless Act really falls short because so many decks that are aggro have ways of getting 1/1 counters. They have their Lord effects. I'm mostly thinking about all that glitter decks, or feather decks are also, I think, 4% of the meta. And I actually have Goldfish open right here next to me. But yeah, mono white is 3% of the meta. And you can also see that all that glitters decks, the enchantment decks, are pretty present too. Azorius aggro is, I think, 4% of the meta right now. So Heartless Act isn't an option. That leaves Tyrant Scorn and I just said the other one. I can't recall the name of it. The Tyrant Scorn being able to bounce cards is pretty good. The other one is again, the name's not coming to me, but it's 2 mana removal, CMC of 3 or less, and it can target planeswalkers CMC 3 or less. Right now, the only planeswalkers that we're worried about is Narset, and maybe the vampire planeswalker Sorin. It's kind of a small field, so we're going to try cast down. If cast down doesn't work out, we'll look to Tyrant Scorn. And being able to bounce a bigger creature is pretty good. And I think there's a Gruul deck that's running around that's running a god, and I don't remember the name of it. It's the green god that's indestructible, and being able to bounce it with Tyrant Scorn is pretty relevant. Tyrant Scorn, of course, doesn't care if the cards are legendary either. Brazen Borrower is here in the removal slot, and that's there to combo with Scarab God in a small way. Some decks just don't have creatures to deal with. You could easily chuck this and pull in a Cast Down or pull in a Tyrant Scorn. We're going to try the Brazen Borrower. The 3/1 body's probably not going to be too relevant, but if it dies, it can come back as a flying 4/4, which could put some pressure on the opponent. But honestly, if we have Scarab God resolved against any type of creature deck, it's probably going to win the game. And even against control decks, most control decks have some creatures, and Scarab God is just phenomenal. And we can always reanimate our Dream Trawlers and get 4/4 flying with lifelink and all of its fancy card decks. So yeah, Scarab God's going to rock pretty well. Board wipe, we're running Wrath of the God. For turn 1 interaction, we do have some Innocent Blood, and this is just a stand-in for Fatal Push until I get Fatal Push. I'm really looking forward to more cards coming into this dark format. So you're probably looking at Opt and Censor with some questions, because here we're only running 24 lands. So these Opts and Censors are pretty important to keep cycling the deck. You'll see a lot of Pioneer and even modern decks that only run 24, 25 lands in their control list. And that's because they have so much card selection. Searcher Canta, Cycling Censor, and Opt gives you a lot of card selection. Now, as far as card draw, we're running Chemister's Insight. Sphinx Revelation is a better slot here. It's only marginally better. It's not going to be heads over heels, and as you can see, I'm fresh out of Mythic Wilds. So we might go dig into the wallet and craft some Sphinx's Revelation. It's a good card. You should probably use it. There is a card that's Pioneer legal that might be coming into the format that's better than Sphinx's Revelation. I can't remember the name of it right now. I've been drinking, guys. But it's a card that for every card you throw into your graveyard, you are able to reduce the casting cost of it. so you can get it down to a ridiculously low casting cost and draw a ton of cards. I think it's like look at the top 7 and select 2. But yeah, this is the list. We're gonna jump into some games and see how we perform. This is the one slot that I have my eye on to swap out, and we'll see where we go with it. We got a lot more room in the sideboard now because our Field of the Dead buddy is banned, and that makes us happy. What is this mono red stuff? We don't play mono red. And yeah, we do have a Grixis list prepared too that we'll be showing off later. I love some Grixis. I'm a control deck player at heart. I don't really like playing mid-range or playing aggro. I can play ramp decks, but it's mostly control. Let's see, getting into game 1 here. I like this. We got Sertress Kenta. We got early interaction. So I'm going to shock this in to be able to opt. It's a little painful to be shocking this and shocking next turn for a black source to play Thought Erasure. Ooh, that's interesting. I'm gonna bottom that. I think we're looking for... not for that. Let's see what they're playing. Ooh. So we don't particularly care about 9 lives. Burglar Rat's annoying. They have 2 9 lives. So let's take their Burglar Rat. We don't need more lands. So we have Sertress Kenta. Their Croxes are going to try and make us discard soon. But we have plenty of things to discard for that. And I think we do want to get this on the field. Toss the... I'm gonna toss the Innocent Blood. No, we're really looking for some card draw here. I guess that is card draw. We're gonna get Croxed again. I'm gonna pitch the land here and take the damage. But I'm gonna opt first and see what we get. Yeah, we'll pitch the land. Do we want to deal with that? Let's go ahead and counter it. Yes, but we don't have the mana because we pitched that land. Oh, but we do! Well, this is phenomenal for us.
I know my you know what? I'm not done.
I can cast this down, right? It destroys it before Playcrafter goes off? Oh, it doesn't! Oh no. That's not the way it works. Oops. That's a feels bad. Well, we got a blunder of the day. They can bring back a Krugza next turn. So we're gonna hold up the Murder Shredder. See what we find. Guess we'll take the Wrath. Going to 6 here feels bad, but we need this on the field. We will happily block this. Okay. I don't think we particularly care about that. Let's just go ahead and innocent blood.
I won't hide from the world any. Keep up the pace.
What's the combo here? And wow, we have a lot of Wrath of the Gods. So what are they going for? Does my deck have enchantment removal? This is such a weird card to play. Main board. You know what? We're not in best of 3, guys.
You know what? I'm not done.
Yeah, this is a card and we're gonna play it. So we want to pretend we have counters open. Oh, well we do have counters open, but it's... I might cycle this main phase. Because we kind of need the life gain. Yeah, I'm gonna cycle this main phase.
Let's skip to the good part.
Let's go ahead and opt. Kind of do want to make a land drop. Huh? Oh, shit. That's what they're doing. So they're invincible. Let's get rid of that. Well, that sucks. So I think I'm gonna Emblem to Fairy, and then I'm going to, yeah, we're gonna Emblem to Fairy, then we're gonna kick this. Well, you learned something new.